Alright, last review for the day, because I'm taking a break for the rest of the night. And that is The Nutcracker Prince. This is another one I used to watch a lot when I was a kid. You're going to get a lot of that this month. The Nutcracker Prince tells the story of Clara. She is gifted this toy castle that you can't play with because it's an automated thing, and a Nutcracker. And she's told a story, and the story sort of comes true. Now, the first thing about this film is that this was my introduction to the Nutcracker. So anything else with Nutcracker, I try to get into. Like, that Macaulay Culkin one, I rented on VHS back in the day, and it sucked. It sucked. I thought it was going to be sort of like this. The one that came out from Disney a couple years ago is similar. The main character's name was Clara. I think Morgan Freeman played Drosselmeyer, who was black instead of undisclosed ethnic character, as he is in this. He has sort of an accent, but I don't know where he's from. So one of the things, watching it this time, with a critical eye, as it were, something stuck out to me. So we're introduced to our main characters, Clara and her brother Fritz. And then they have this big old Christmas party, because they live in a rich house, because, of course. And Drosselmeyer, who was called Uncle Drosselmeyer to them, even though he's not really their uncle, comes over with the castle and gives Clara the Nutcracker. Fritz breaks the Nutcracker, but then he tells Clara the story of how the Nutcracker came to be. And how years ago, he and his nephew Hans used to work for this king. And one day, the Mouse Queen cursed Princess Perlipan to make her, yes, that's her name, to make her ugly. Ugly, she ugly. Yeah, she ugly. Because the king just had to have his birthday cake made of blue cheese, which unleashed the Mouse Queen and her son and a bunch of rats. All the other rats are exterminated, thanks to Drosselmeyer, except for the queen and her son. Queen puts a curse on Princess Perlipan to make her ugly, and so the only thing that can fix her is the cracker nut, or something like that. The cracker nut, or something. And so the king gets all the handsome prince boy people to come to the castle to break it. And they can't do it. They keep breaking their teeth. And so finally, Hans puts it in his mouth, because he's the titular Nutcracker, right? And he breaks it. So he fixes it. Well, then the queen puts a curse on Hans and bites him, turns him into a Nutcracker. And during this, Hans backs up into one of the pillars, crashes, and it kills the Mouse Queen. By the way, Princess Perlipan is cured, but because of this accident, Drosselmeyer is exiled from the castle, which makes no sense, because yes, his nephew caused it, but it was because of the Mouse Queen. You could see it. It was right there in the middle of the walkway. On the whole royal thing with the red carpet, it was right there. Everyone saw the Mouse Queen bite him, and yet Drosselmeyer still gets exiled for the destruction. It's not his fault. It's not his nephew's fault. You saw the Mouse Queen. Well, her son, which I'll just call Junior, finds her dead body, sort of. She's crushed. And he takes her crown and becomes the Mouse King, no longer under her oppression. He can do what he wants. So, that story is told, and then that night, Clara goes to bed, and when she wakes up, she goes to visit the castle, and she starts to introduce the Nutcracker to her dolls. They're not really important. There's this redhead one. There's this fat one. There's the guy with the mustache whose name I forgot. But they're main characters, but they're really not important. You know. Okay, I forgot their names. All right, forgot their names. But names aren't really important. There's the fat lady one. There's the old man one, who's like the leader of the tin soldiers or whatever. And then there's the redhead one, who's always worried about everything. And then Drosselmeyer appears, but has this weird whoosh thing and brings all the dolls and castle stuff to life. And then the Mouse King shows up out of nowhere, and there's a scuffle between him and the Nutcracker. But during this scuffle, Clara slips on a cannonball and knocks her head. And she wakes up the next morning as if it was a dream. Now, this is interesting. This could have worked. One, they do it twice. They do this, oh, it was a dream, thing twice. Now, I'm going to discuss how they could make it better after I finish reviewing this, this part. So, she wakes up, she thinks it's a dream, but Drosselmeyer shows up, somehow fixed the Nutcracker despite having left it there. Who knows? And so after everyone leaves, and it's Christmas, by the way, and because Clara bonked her head, she's not allowed to, she's forced to stay in bed. It's Christmas. Christmas. Bonked head or nothing, I want to participate, you know what I mean? Okay, my arm got torn off. I'm going to Christmas. Let's go. Christmas. But she's forced to stay in bed. And then the Rat King, or the Mouse King, shows up. I think, you can't use Rat King because at the time Charles was the thing. The Mouse King shows up, so it was real. And as she locks him in a drawer, she goes downstairs, and the Mouse King shows up, and Drosselmeyer shows up again, and magic brings everything back to life. And they think they defeat the Mouse King, but the old man doll is hurt or broken. So they take him to the castle to be fixed. And this is where they have the lovely dance. Well, that was earlier, but still. And, everything is fine. And so, I always thought it was different, but according to Wikipedia, it went another way. So, according to Wikipedia, so what happens is that they want Clara to stay there with them in the castle. She is unsure if she wants to stay there. Slowly, the dolls start turning back into normal dolls, including the Nutcracker. Then the Mouse King shows up to attack her. Now, according to Wikipedia, they start turning back into dolls because she was hesitant to join them. I always thought the Rat King was doing something. Or maybe it was just running up. Man, I thought maybe the Rat King did something. Like he had his mother's magic or something. We were shown that his mom had magic. Maybe he learned it. Who knows? But the Rat King shows up with these wild eyes. They fight. She knocks him off the castle. And it is commented that they found a dead rat later on. But so she then, everything's back to normal. She wakes up. And once again, they play the dream card. It was all a dream. She goes, no, it can't be a dream. It can't be a dream. And then she runs off. And she goes to Drosselmeyer's. And Hans is there. The Nutcracker, he's no longer a Nutcracker. He's free from the curse. Which, I feel like there's no reason for why he was cursed. Why he wasn't freed before. See, the Mouse Queen, the Mouse Queen cursed him. Then she died. Which means the curse should have been broken then. Why did he have to kill Junior for the curse to, I don't know. But this is where it's made everything that happened had been real. Sort of. Now, you can assume it was real, you could assume it was all a dream. But had they structured this differently, it could have been more ambiguous. First, you start out with the story of Drosselmeyer and his nephew. Not that he's telling it to her. He could be telling it to her, but you can have it start the film and then transition into him telling her the story and then him giving her the Nutcracker. Well, introduction with them throwing snow outside. That could be the introduction. Giving her the Nutcracker and everything. And Fritz breaking it, maybe. Who knows? And then you have where she wakes up. And you have from this moment on till the whole fighting the Rat King in the castle be one continuous thing. You don't have a scene in the middle. So essentially you have the fight you have her showing the Nutcracker to her dolls, them coming to life, the Mouse King showing up with his thing, the whole fight, and you have the old man, you have a false defeat of the Mouse King, that he might have been defeated, or he retreats, or something like that. You have the, maybe a false defeat works with where we're going, but you have a false defeat of the Mouse King. You have them take him to the castle to get fixed. Instead of her slipping, falling down, and waking up the next day, you don't have that. That's only filler because they need to fill up a time frame. You keep going, and you go to the castle. He gets fixed. She sees all this wonderful stuff. Asked to stay. She's hesitant. The Rat King shows up. They all turn back into dolls. The Rat King shows up. There's a fight. He falls down. And then you leave hints as to it may have been real, it may have not been real. Right? You have Drosselmeyer show up there and ask about the Nutcracker. And he shows that he fixed it. But you also show that Hans is also there. And she's like, wait, what? I thought you said the story. And he goes, oh, sometimes a story, maybe just a story. Or maybe not. So you don't know. Was Hans the Nutcracker, or was it just a Nutcracker? Was it a dream? Or was he freed? This is a different Nutcracker that looks the same. Because they all look sort of the same. One thing he didn't have was a little mustache thingy. You never know. And you have the line where, we found a big mouse just underneath the castle. Is that the Rat King? Is that the Mouse King? Or just a fat mouse that died because the cat got a hold of it? You don't know. And it works better if it's one linear thing that happens on succession rather than having that breakup with her slipping on the cannonball and then waking up the next day thinking it's a dream. This leaves it just a little bit more ambiguous. Was Drosselmeyer telling the truth about the story? Was his nephew really the Nutcracker? Was it all a dream? Who knows? You never know. And I think it would work better. But the film as it is without my alterations, how is it for me? I think it's fine. It's one I watched countlessly. Honestly, the cartoon films I grew up watching the most. Rockapella, Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night, and this one. Kind of back to back. It was Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night, Rockapella. This was right after Rockapella on the VHS tape I had. So it worked. So, with that in mind, I'm going to give the Nutcracker Prince an 8 out of 10. I think it's a decent story. I think it works. There's that little, area that I don't really care for where she slips on a cannonball, thinks it was a dream, only for it to happen again. Then they do the dream thing again the next day. It just doesn't work right. But other than that, I think it's fine. 8 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on the Nutcracker Prince? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. We'll see you in the next one.